Hello, this is Tirza Ekholm of the Tirza Factor, and welcome to day 2 of the 14-day challenge. I'm taking this 14-day challenge, marketing challenge, offered through Ray Higdon and his marketing group, an educational group. And today, I promised yesterday I would talk to you about UFOs, and I'm making UFOs stand for UnFinished projects. Now today I'm going to talk to you about this from an artist's perspective, but this is the sort of thing that we all have. So come with me here in my studio. I'm maybe a little embarrassed to show you how, because this is pretty messy, but here we go. So hello, Paula. Paula is in the house. Paula is a fellow artist, friend of mine, and it's so good to see you here. So come with me a little bit here. Like I said, I'm a little afraid to share some of this with you, but all right, so let's just go in here. First of all, this may look like an overwhelming mess, and believe me, when I first saw it, it is an overwhelming mess. I don't know if I can turn this around. Yes, I can. Okay, so I have lots and lots of unfinished projects. So hello, Bonnie B. Bonnie B is in the house. So some of these things you may recognize. A lot of them you've never seen before. And why have you never seen them? Because they're in this they're this unfinished state. I can't display them anywhere. I can't move forward with them. They're just hanging around in my studio making a mess and contributing to an even bigger mess. So especially I had decided this even yesterday before the snowstorm. I decided I wanted to do something about it. So the first thing I want to share with you is realize you're not alone. So like I said, I'm coming to this, or I'm presenting this to you from the perspective of an artist, but quite frankly, any of us have unfinished projects, and they just sit around in our basements, in our bedrooms, in our offices, and they just, even if they're digital projects on your computer, they take up space in your mind, and they take up space on your computer, or they take up space, as in this case in my studio, but that can be your garage, your basement, anything. So the first thing you need to understand is number one, you are not alone. A lot of people have this same issue. So we can kind of band together and support each other in taking care of our unfinished projects. Number 2 is start to put some organization around them. So I'm going to take you back into to the part of my studio here. So let me just show you real quick. So the first thing I've started to do is I've started organizing them. I don't know if you can see that I've kind of organized some of my canvases here by size, and not exactly shape, but size, and maybe their level of being finished, and whether or not they're going to need some framing or that kind of thing. Some of these that I have up on the shelf here, I put them on the shelf because not necessarily because they're not complete, but they're incomplete because they need framing and or reframing. And then down here, I've started organizing my frames. Now, as I said, I was a little bit embarrassed to kind of show you this because it looks like a big mess, but you should have seen this before I started. So what that's going to do is now as I start to go through some of my artworks, I'm going to be able to go through and either finish them or repaint them or cover them with fabrics, which is, I'm going to show you that in just a second here. And I'll be ready to reframe some of them. So for example, let's go back out here to this other room that I have. So this one here, whoops, hold on, let me switch back. I'm kind of having a little fun with this camera. So this was a piece of art that I did have hung once, and it was framed once, but I didn't give it a solid backing. And in fact, the pieces that the internal frame that I had, they actually fell apart because they were poorly glued and just poorly put together. So then the whole thing kind of collapsed in on itself, and so now what I'm doing is I'm going to put it on a much more solid canvas and hanging frame. So then that's going to move to my cottonwood studio pretty soon. Another piece here, this was just kind of a mess, so I've applied some different paint on it, and I'm going to add some different elements to it. So now that's kind of in its next stage. And I was going to show you one more. Oh yes, there was another one. One more back here. Again, this was one that I had, it had looked kind of awful before, so now I'm kind of, whoops, I've gone over it with some new painting, and then I'm putting some fabric over it, so you'll have to pardon my, obviously it's going to need a little bit of hanging hardware, and then that one's going to be ready to go into my studio at Cottonwood. So I'm going to be delighted to show you these when they're done. The cool thing is I took steps toward towards finishing these projects. Pretty soon I'm going to have 3 more pieces that I'm going to be able to bring into my studio. And then I've got more that are just lined up and ready for me to take on again and turn them into beautiful works of art, make them ready to hang, they're ready to display. So a potential customer might be able to look at them and go, oh yes, I can definitely see that in my house or my office. And the way they were organized before I started this reorganization project made it impossible for anybody to even think about having them. And there's a lot of things in our lives that are kind of like that, whether it's your art or your business. And so I urge you to take steps. It's just like any big project. Take it one step at a time, and pretty soon you'll be able to do that. The fourth thing that I was going to add, I actually had one more thing to add, was to put yourself, because I talked a little bit about in my title about being underconfident. One of the things that happens, well, I think to any of us, I'm going to speak again from the point of view of being an artist, and that is sometimes I create a work or I start working on something and I look at it and I go, oh my God, nobody would ever like that. That's terrible, and nobody, and then I lose confidence in it and it kind of goes off to the wayside, and then I don't get it done and nobody ever gets to see it. So nobody even gets to tell me whether they like it or not. And I think that's something that a lot of people suffer from. One of the things that I'm doing to help me with that, believe it or not, is to take better care of both my mental and physical health. And I plan to be sharing some of these things with you in future Facebook Live videos, as well as if you want to know more about these kind of things, then certainly shoot me a private message and I'd be glad to share them with you. I'd be glad to hear some of your concerns and also some of the things that you all may be doing to help with this kind of thing. So I hope this has been useful to you. If you found it useful, go ahead and shoot me a message, reply below, and let me know that you found this useful. And if you'd like to have more, and or you'd like me to share some of my tips with you, some of my notes from this 14-day challenge that I'm participating in, then do please private message me, and I would be delighted to get back to you and share them with you. Again, this is Tirza Ekholm from the Tirza Factor and the 14-day challenge, and I'm so glad you are here on my video. And again, if you'd like to hear some more tips from me on how to take care of those UFOs, feel less overwhelmed and more confident, then shoot me a private message and I'd be glad to share them with you. Thanks, and see you later. Hey, Bonnie. Hey, Clay. Good to see you guys. See you guys later. Bye.